Hey guys, my name is Pamela and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about infidelity within the military community, but more specifically into the Special Forces field. Okay, so let me start by saying thank you guys so much for always liking this video and subscribing. You guys are awesome. You're making this channel grow. And with that, it gives me more motivation to put out more videos. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like this video. If you want to leave any comments, please drop them down below. Ask any questions, share experiences, share some advice, whatever your recommendations are, put them down below. So let's get to it. Let's talk about cheating within the Special Forces community. Okay, so let me start by saying that I've gotten a lot of messages from wives. And their concern is always, hey, I just want to hear that there is successful stories, successful marriages in the Special Forces community. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I don't understand your question. And they're like, well, we hear that there's a lot of cheating going on from the men, from the soldiers that are Green Berets. And, you know, it's so funny because I have never come across a man cheating on their wife in the Special Forces community. I haven't. What I have come across is women, wives, cheating on their husbands while they're either deployed or they're in training. You know, I'm not trying to give it an excuse on any sort of level, but I feel like I get it. Like I can see that. And it's because sometimes these wives are feeling lonely, they're feeling depressed, they're feeling a lot of emotions while their husbands are gone on deployments or trainings because they're absent so frequently sometimes and for such a long time that they start to feel alone. They start to feel like a single parent and they start to, you know, their needs are not met, so then they look for it somewhere else or they start to find that comfort in someone else, unfortunately. It's sad and it's heartbreaking, but I can see it. I mean, I struggled through so much while Sean was deployed, so I can see it. So on another note, does it happen? I'm sure it does happen. I'm sure that, you know, there are a lot of male soldiers that do cheat on their wives, but personally, I haven't come across it. Remember that there's about 11 to 14 teammates within a Special Forces team. So there's a lot of personalities and a lot of men and now possibly women that are, you know, just together at all times. And most of the time they're training. They're running through meetings, they're doing drills, they're training, they're out deployed, they're busy. So there's not going to be any time for them to possibly do anything that they shouldn't be doing. There's really not a lot of time. Just asking Sean, and he's always told me, like, I don't even know when they would do this because we're constantly on base trying to take care of stuff. There's not really any females around us, and if there are, they're not the kind of females that you'd want to that are going to want to do something like that because they're higher ups, they're very responsible, they already have children, families. So the chances of something like that happening are usually really low. It sucks that there's a lot of people out there that are putting all these negative comments or spreading these rumors. It could come from people who have experienced it, and that's very unfortunate for them. That sucks. It sucks. But that doesn't mean that you need to be spreading out these rumors around for the future spouses, because this is going to bring you guys fear, and that's not fair. You know, you can't go into this whole journey fearful of what might not even happen. I know that there's a lot of divorce happening within the military community. Like I said, I think it's because there's, you know, a lot of loneliness that comes from just waiting for your partner to come back from training or from deployment. But it all comes down to the same thing that I say in every single video, and that's establishing a good foundation between you and your spouse when it comes to communication strategies and boundaries. Boundaries is so huge. I mean, me and Sean have established our boundaries from the get-go. I mean, there's so many things that we have done for our relationship that has set us up for success. If you establish that really good foundation in your relationship, whether it's communication or whatever it may be that's important to you, then you're going to succeed. You're going to be successful in your marriage. So you can't blame the fault on, the fact that your husband or your wife has now cheated on you because you're in the Special Forces community. Special Forces is just a title. You can't blame it for what has happened, because most likely what is happening is because probably within your marriage. I don't mean to sound, harshly blunt, but it is what it is. You need to make sure that your relationship is healthy before you can really take a step forward into a journey that's going to throw so many trials and tribulations. Expectations are huge. We expect our partners to understand how we're feeling, but if we don't say anything, how are they supposed to know? Men don't think like we do, so we have to make sure that we're always voicing our opinion. We're always voicing what we want to say. Otherwise, they're never going to get it. They're not going to understand. They're not going to know. So let me tell you something. There's always going to be one individual in the team that's just a little different than the others, but that's okay, because that's why you have the entire rest of the team to guide that one individual in the right direction. When it comes to team parties, I know a lot of wives are concerned like, oh my gosh, is my husband going to go and just go to the bar or go to a strip club or anything like that? I have never experienced that before. I think Sean has gotten out to drink with the team maybe like once or twice, and it was never a big deal. They would just go for a couple hours and come back home. Most of these guys on the team are married. Most of them are already fathers. So can you imagine these guys going out to a strip club? I mean, it's just most likely not gonna happen. And if there's like a couple in there that are still single, then usually they get together and go off and do their own thing. And that's okay. There's always gonna be that one team member that you get along with more because you can relate to more. And that's the good thing about having so many team members within that team, is that you're going to be able to relate to some of them, and you're going to be able to hang out with them and their spouses, and you guys are all going to get together because you relate to one another. But I have not seen any issues with my husband going off to wherever they should not be going, to an environment that's going to cause trouble like infidelity. The last thing I'm going to say is that if you're a husband, okay, and you're in that team, can you imagine if you do end up cheating on your spouse around your team, and then the rest of the guys know your wife? Like, how are they gonna? There's gonna be tension. It's gonna get around. The word's gonna get around, and then the team's not gonna function well because some are not gonna get along with the fact that you cheated on your wife. Like, it's not common. I mean, first of all, there's no time for them to cheat on you, okay? There really isn't. If they are, man, they must be really going out of their way. And again, there must be something going on in your marriage and your relationship. And that's something that you need to address first. Another thing, if you are being cheated on by your husband, the rest of the team members probably know. And that's going to cause tension. And no team wants that, because if there's tension within that team, it's going to show and they're not going to perform well. And then when they get deployed, they're not going to perform well there either. So a lot of these teams, they don't want that. They want to make sure that the entire team gets along. So if you're doing something that's, you're not supposed to be doing, it's going to affect you. It's going to follow you to your job. And that's something that you don't want, especially in the Special Forces community. Okay, guys, that's all I have to say on infidelity, on cheating, on things that, your husband should not be doing while they're in the Special Forces community. Again, I have not seen it coming from the husband side. I have seen it from the wife side, and it stinks. It sucks, but it does exist. It's out there. All I can say, and it's the same thing that I always say, is, and I cannot express this enough, and it's working on your relationship, establishing a good foundation, establishing boundaries, a good communication strategy, and make sure that you are giving each other some slack, giving each other extra love and extra acceptance and understanding. All right, guys, again, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you on the next one, and that's it. Bye.